Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. It's TPM5 here, back again with another NBA video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the San Antonio Spurs and why I believe them committing to a rebuild this offseason was probably one of the best things they could have done, and why the rebuild ahead of them won't be that painful, and why this season they might be better than what some people would expect. Without further ado, let's get into the video. The San Antonio Spurs are coming off of a season where they won 33 games and lost 39, which was 10th in the Western Conference, which means they did end up losing in the play-in. It was obviously, a topsy-turvy season for them. They started pretty well with a record of 22 and 16, but from there it was always going to go downhill. They finished with an offensive rating of 21 or 21st in the league, sorry, and a defensive rating of 17th in the league as well. So not much of an improvement from the season before, where they finished 11th and only won 32 games. So it became pretty clear to the Spurs that they had to commit to a rebuild. And while letting go of DeRozan, Rudy Gay, and even Patty Mills, who's been there for a while, was painful at the time, you know, it's a commitment to the future and what they have on this roster. They took a risk on Zach Collins, and they signed Doug McDermott in the sign and trade, who looks really good. He averaged 13.6 points last year on around 41% from three in a career year. Now he's someone that's going to hold trade value, so that's another thing to look out for. And he might not even be on the team in his third year of his contract, but at least someone that can improve their three-point shooting, which was an area of concern last season. Just a quick break, guys. I make NBA content 2 to 3 times a week during the season, but during this off season, I'll be making them daily. So if you'd like to subscribe and help me out, I'd heavily appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 700 subs by the end of the month, so if you could join, that would help. And also don't forget to like and comment on this video as well. Now back to the video. When the Spurs signed and traded DeMar DeRozan to Chicago, in my opinion at least, it was a very smart move, seeing as DeRozan was always going to leave, and it was pretty clear to us and the members of the public that he wanted to go to a team where he could contend or at least make the playoffs. A team that kind of fits his timeline a bit more, which probably can be said about Chicago given their moves this offseason. Getting back Al-Farouq Amino, who's basically a cap filler but can be a good veteran for them, and also Thaddeus Young, who can probably be like a Boris Diaw if we have any Spurs fans that are old watching. But Thaddeus Young's someone that's on an expiring deal, I believe, and he holds trade value and is a very well-rounded player. As the last season, he was averaging 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, and I think less than 30 minutes a night. So he's someone who could come in and fill through a few gaps in the team for them. In my opinion, that was a big win, and they got 3 draft picks out of that sign and trade deal as well. In the end, it helps them press the reset button. And back to Thaddeus Young, he can be a really good mentor for Keldon Johnson, who's a budding young star and someone who showed a lot of signs last season. And especially for someone at the small forward spot who had some big rebounding nights, he was averaging 13 points and 6 rebounds too. The Spurs also went to Australia to get another centre by the name of Jock Landale. Now he's on a minimum deal, as a player coming in as a rookie as such. Now during the NBL, he averaged 17 points and around 8 rebounds. And obviously, you can say what you want about the NBL, but it's not exactly it's not a pushover league. It's not the best league in the world, but LaMelo came and did some stuff, so I think that he could play a role for them. And if I'm not mistaken, he's a big that can shoot the ball, which again addresses their issue of three-point shooting, which I believe they're the second worst shooting team when it comes to three-point shots. Now, when you look at the draft, they brought in Josh Primo. Now, the selection of Josh Primo could be seen as a bit of a risk, but against the Brooklyn Nets in Summer League, he dropped 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, showing glimpses of the potential he has for the future. The flashy guard is known for really good shooting skills, along with dribbling and just the general, good feel for the game. And then they drafted Joe Vicecap, which was a no-brainer for the Spurs at the 42nd pick. Now he shot 41% behind the arc during his time at Iowa State. I believe he stayed there for 3 years. So they've kind of taken a risk and they've picked more of a safer option, obviously at 2 ends of the draft. But I think that those 2 guys can come in and do something, probably more so Josh Primo. Now when you look at DeJounte Murray, who was averaging 15.7 points per game last season, a lot of the big scorers and guys that had the ball in their hand for the Spurs last year are gone, and it looks like he's set for another career year, with jumps in points per game and assists per game looking likely. Now he's shown an inability to get to the free throw line, which could be, due to, the other guys being there and taking shots and doing more of the dribble drive. But he is someone that does take most of his shots from within 10 feet of the basket. So we probably want him to, if you're a Spurs fan, probably want him to, get more fouls and get to the free throw lines to get easy looks. Over his career, he's just averaged 2.6 attempts from the free throw line per 36 minutes, which means it's even worse. Now, I think he's someone that can take big jumps next year. My bold call for the video probably is he jumps up to 20 points per game. Now, when it comes to the future and the salary cap, the Spurs are just around the salary cap limit this season. However, they'll only have 73 committed for next year. So obviously a rebuilding team with a lot of flexibility when it comes to that. Now, they'll probably trot out a starting lineup of DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Keldon Johnson, Thaddeus Young, and Jakob Poeltl, with Doug McDermott, Lonnie Walker, Drew Eubanks, Al-Farouq Aminu, and Lucas Samanic, and Devin Vassell, and Bryn Forbes being the guys off the bench. Then you have guys like Jock Landale and Trey Jones in the reserves. That does bring me to the end of the video, guys, so please don't forget to comment what you guys think. How many games are the Spurs going to win this year? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.